With the 8th selection of the 2011 first-year player draft, the Cleveland Indians select Francisco Lindor, shortstop, from Mount Verde Academy, Mount Verde, Florida.
You're cleared for takeoff. Go ahead,
Good evening. Welcome in to Indians Minor League Magazine. Along with Jason Stanford, I'm Al Pulowski. And boy, Jay, an exciting time right now. The Major League Baseball draft this week, and the Indians' first-round pick is in.
Yeah, it was very exciting to see what goes on with this Major League draft. It's a fun time for the young kids, whether you're in college or whether you're in high school, to really get it going for your professional career. Hopefully he can sign, though. Yeah, Francisco Lindor is the guy. We'll talk about him in just a moment. But let's tell you what's coming up on the show here today. As usual, take you around the minors, check in with all the Tribe's farm teams. Then you'll hear from Akron Executive VP Jim Fander about all the great stuff happening at Canal Park. Later, you'll meet Strongsville native Anthony Gallus. He's really having a great season at Lake County. This week's Diamond in the Rough, and we'll unveil the Minor League Player of the Week as well. But first up here on the show, let's talk about the Indians' first pick, the 8th overall in the Major League Baseball draft on Monday, Francisco Lindor from Mount Verde High School in Florida. And here's a kid, a shortstop, a switch hitter, good speed, good defense, and they hope he can develop some power as well, Jason. Well, I can tell you he's already got some power. He was in the Aflac or a home run derby contest and won it. And this was done in Petco Park. So you know that he's got a little bit of power when you're hitting home runs in Petco Park. High school kid, Jason, first time they've taken a high school kid in about 10 years with that first pick. What does that say? Anything? Well, I think the Indians really like them. What they wanted to do was take the best possible player at this slot, and they did. I like what they did here. You know, you look for a young athletic kid, a shortstop, maybe a second baseman, just a middle infielder, but has great range, a very strong arm. And then from the offensive standpoint, the kid has some power, he has a lot of speed, and he just has a really good knowledge for the game right now as a 17-year-old. Yeah, we'll hear more about him from Brad Grant. He'll be our guest next week here with Indians Minor League Magazine, so make sure you join us for that as well. But still, plenty more to come here on the show. And also the second pick, they went high school again. They took a right-handed pitcher, Dylan Howard, out of an Arkansas high school. So the first two picks are high school kids. A lot of people thought the Indians were going to lean towards college kids as they have most recently, but not this year. They went for some high school kids and some kids with a very high ceiling. Yeah, and that's very true, and it changes from year to year. I mean, this year, a lot of talent from the pitching aspect, a lot of high school talent. The Indians are always looking for the best possible player available at that slot, and the Indians have done a very good job so far. Since Brad Grant has been in the head for the director of scouting, they've done an awesome job in their scouting department. And I give props to everybody in the country, too, that they have. The regional scouts, the cross-checkers, everybody does a very nice job from the Indian standpoint. Yeah, they do. The scouting department's doing a great job. All right, let's check in now with the Indians minor league teams. We'll go down I-71 to Columbus. Zach Putnam making a huge impression in the Clippers bullpen. The hard-throwing righty is 4-1 now with 6 saves, a .251 ERA. He struck out 26, walked only 6. In a little more than 32 innings pitched. Yeah, Zach is really putting a name for himself on the board, trying to get that call up at some point. The kid knows what he's doing, especially at the AAA level right now. Does a very good job of spotting his fastball, and from the back end of a bullpen, if you can do that, very impressive. Ezekiel Carrera, we saw him up here briefly with the Tribe, his numbers, and Jason Kipnis, the highly touted second baseman, having a very solid season as well. Yeah, Columbus has done a very nice job so far this season. They're playing very good baseball. Ezekiel right there had a little cup of coffee so far. Hopefully he gets called back up because I love his speed. All right, Thursday right here on SportsTime Ohio, you can catch the Columbus Clippers when they take on the Rochester Red Wings. The game is Thursday at noon. It will be live right here on SportsTime Ohio, so we hope you can join us for that broadcast. All right, let's go down to AA now and check in with the Akron Arrows, who outfielder-wise, they're having some great play this year, some great speed there. Jordan Henry is one to talk about. 18 stolen bases on the year for the Arrows. For the season now, the speedy outfielder is batting .269, and he scored 34 runs. Well, this was very impressive. That play that you just saw right there to beat out an infield single, hit to the first baseman and outrun the pitcher. Very fun to watch this kid. Top of the lineup type guy, a little bit like Michael Brantley, you know, from a speed standpoint. He can do it with all, though. He's got a little bit of gap-to-gap power. Watch for this kid to really step it up. Yeah, the outfielders are so special in Akron right now. How about Tim Fedroff just tearing it up in a pitcher's league, the Eastern League? We know, Jay, you know, how pitcher-heavy that is.
Well, he's batting .362, and Nick Weglar's now on a rehab assignment in Akron, and he's 1 for 4 so far.
Fedorov, I mean, was already a player of the week for the Indians, but look for this kid. You know, sooner than later, he's going to get called up to AAA. He's got to show what he can do up at the AAA level before the Indians really say, okay, is this kid a big league type player? But I mean, they've got a lot of talent at the outfield ranks right now, and that's tough, and that's why you're seeing all these kids stay in their position.
As we talked about all season, some great prospects up and down the system. Let's go to Kinston now and check in with the High A ball club that plays at historic Granger Stadium. Clayton Cook has become the K-Tribe's team leader in wins he's got 6, 5-1 in his last 6 starts. During that time, Jay, a 196 ERA. Now, during that span, he's also struck out 33 while walking 12. Great development here for Clayton Cook.
Yeah, he looks very good from the right side, has a very nice breaking ball, knows the game a little bit more than people really understand at the High A level. I mean, he really studies what he needs to do from start to start, and he really pounds the strike zone. And when you're doing that, you're going to move up the ranks very fast.
All right, here's some guys to keep an eye on besides Clayton Cook. Of course, Drew Pomerantz, the #1 pick, just dominating down there in the Carolina League. And Bo Greenwell, he's been in the system now for a little while, and he's a guy that keeps performing well at each level.
Yeah, he does. I mean, and Bo Greenwell has some pedigree, though. His dad was Mike Greenwell, who played for the Red Sox for a long time. So you look at what these guys are capable of doing in the pedigree type deal. Michael Brantley, his dad, played in the big leagues. These guys have a knack for the game. They understand what they're doing. But Drew Pomerantz, he does not belong there anymore. He needs to get up. I know he had some injuries with his hamstring. He needs to get up to AA and show what he can do there. That way, at the end of September, when the Indians are in the playoff hunt, he can come up and really dominate the big league level.
I don't think it'll be long before we see him at Canal Park. All right, let's go over now. Instead of Canal Park, let's head out to East Lake and check in with the Lake County Captains. And the great milestone for their manager, Ted Kubiak. Major milestone last week, reached 1,000 wins in the minor leagues when the Captains beat West Michigan. If that's not enough, Kubiak has also been selected to manage the Eastern Division at the Midwest League All-Star Game, June 21st in Davenport, Iowa. He's also taking 6 captains to the game with him, Jason.
Well, that's very impressive. If you look at this roster right here of 6 guys going to the All-Star Game, that's awesome. But for Teddy Kubiak, great guy, great manager. Had the opportunity to play for him a little bit in the minors early on in my career. I love this guy.
Yeah, everybody I think loves Ted Kubiak, and he's done a great job down there with Lake County. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll head down to Canal Park and check in with some of the great things that are happening there, including the Akron Arrows' unforgettable summer. Just think big, and I mean really big food. Don't go away.
Beautiful. 26, 36 feet, up.